I would like to thank NEMA, DG NEMA, Director NEMA Karachi, for giving us, the National Institute of Oceanography, the floor for one of the sessions, a sub-session, and giving us the opportunity to share some of the work that my organization is carrying out. I think this should be a small window into some of the works that we are doing, and perhaps invite some of our national colleagues and international colleagues to come and collaborate with us. So you are most welcome to reach out to us either through our emails, or uh, if you see us, myself or any of my colleagues, you can just catch me there and talk to me. So I'm quite open with that. So with that, we will begin my presentation today. We are going to look at the priorities for the Northwest Indian Ocean. You've looked at some of the things that have been spoken about by our very valuable speakers yesterday and today, and for our session also. So I'm not going to go into a lot of details and how that contributes to the blue economy. And like I said, that the research has to come before the development. And you can only do sustainable development if you are knowledgeable about how your systems are going to react. So for the scope, we've all looked at how global oceans are all connected, and we look at what the region is about. We will also look at the ocean and human nexus, how the humanity is connected to the oceans. Then we will look out into how what are the research drivers for the region, and what our organization is doing. Global oceans, there is a connection. I think Senator Sherry Rahman, she explained the conveyor belt very clearly to everyone. The conveyor belt takes about 1,000 years to take one round. So with the conveyor belt slowing down, obviously it's going to impact all the processes that are taking place in the environment in the oceans as well. So our own region, we are the Northwest Indian Ocean, the Arabian Sea. And you see that there are no boundaries within the oceans, and like all the speakers before me have stressed very clearly, that we all need to work together as a community of ocean scientists. Um, the oceans contribute food security, water security, employment creation, and when we're talking about blue economy, employment is a huge element there. Uh, Climate regulation, obviously the oceans contribute hugely to the climate regulations, and we've had many speakers dwell on that as well. Nutrient cycles, we've had Professor Wuing talk about the nutrient cycles, how important the nitrogen, phosphorus, and silicates and carbons are for the oceans, and how productivities are driven through these cycles. Habitats and biodiversity, we've been looking at that, and our colleague from Malaysia spoke about the coral reefs this morning. Then we had the mangroves. So there are many ecosystems that are extremely important to us for maintaining biodiversity and conserving them and habitats. Tourism, of course, is one of the other elements. But obviously, like the speaker talking about the coral reefs mentioned, that tourism has to be sustainable as well, so that the ecosystem that it is actually addressing has a carrying capacity, and we must know what is the carrying capacity of each of these habitats. How humans are pressurizing, overfishing, climate change, ocean acidification, pollution, unsustainable usage of some of the coastal areas. And of course, resource extraction as well. So we had someone speak about I think it was Engineer Faisal who spoke about how the last stock assessment of Pakistan suggested that 80% of these stocks have depleted and 50% of the fishing fleets should be cut off. I think he's very clear on that, and the report is available for anyone to see. When we suggest that we have huge potential, we must look at how our resources and where our resources stand before we get into those kind of comments. The key challenges, of course, is to beat marine pollution, is to protect and restore ecosystems. Of course, we have to feed a large population. Pakistan has a large population and it keeps growing. So we have to make sure that the protein deficiency is addressed. Then, of course, we have climate change related issues as well. Now, the elements that are driving ocean research at the moment are that the United Nations declared the current decade as the decade of the oceans for sustainable development. And the elements that are very clear in that is that we are able to address and measure and keep working towards an integrated approach. So I think that's where we stand. The global community needs to work together in order to, and I think the Aman has been a huge inspiration. If the navies can work together, why can't the scientists work together? So I think that's a huge inspiration for us. Pakistan is obviously also part of the UN IOC, so therefore we also are focusing our research towards the UN decade of the oceans. We are also quite clearly focused towards the Sustainable Development Goal 14. Ocean acidification is one of the elements under this, and Pakistan is doing that. And let me also tell you, and I will, of course, show you some of the work that our organization has been involved in which in the earlier reports that were going out from Pakistan on ocean acidification, we would just leave those sections blank. Now, but we are measuring we're taking those observations from the last few years, and so we are quite proudly not leaving those sections blank anymore, and we are filling them with data that's collected at my organization. NIO's initiatives, of course, is to mobilize the scientists, synthesize the existing research that's taking place. We are also reaching out to all the other stakeholders. We are bridging science, policy, and societal dialogues. We think that this is our being here at the PIMEC should reflect that we are reaching out to all and everyone in society. We think also that science should be for a purpose and not just to serve curiosity. So there should be real solutions to problems also. So I think unless we do that and reach out to the industry, there's no way that the scientists can know what the problems are and how to solve them. Like I said, that the National Institute of Oceanography is working towards the Ocean Decade. We are trying to improve our research capacity by improving our human resource, by upgrading our facilities and improving and strengthening our technical and scientific manpower or human power. So the National Institute of Oceanography has been working towards getting a sea-going platform for many years since the beginning. We cannot go out to measure as regularly as Dr. Abid said. We need to establish time series stations. Unless we have our own platform, that is a dream that we are still hoping will materialize in the future. We also want to improve our national and international visibility. And as a scientist, I feel that for the international visibility, our research will do that for us. For the national visibilities, we are here, part of the PIMEC, so that we as our organization and our work becomes more visible to the Pakistanis and to others, visitors, international visitors who are coming to this exhibition and the conference. We are part of many international programs. One or two I'm going to show you. National collaborations, we have several projects that are going on, and we have national partners in that. We work very closely with the hydrography department. Our founding director was a hydrographer, and he had a huge vision for the organization. And I think from the day one, we've been working very closely with Pakistan Navy. So Pakistan Navy is a huge support for us. MSA, we've signed a MOU with them. Hydrography, we have an MOU with them also. Other than that, we have PCRWR, which is the Water Resource Council. Suparco, we do remote sensing as well, and remote sensing applications that cater to to the marine side. So we work very closely with them as well. Academia, of course, we get a lot of collaborative and joint research projects with them. We've signed several MOUs with many universities, and we support their students and their research staff. For the international, okay. I was told to use the left, okay. Okay, for the international collaborations, we have many international collaborations with China, with Germany, with the United States. We are part of the SCORE. We are part of the INOC, which is the Islamic Network of Oceanographic Committee. We are part of SCAR, which is the Scientific Committee for Antarctic Research. We are part of UNESCO IOC, Intergovernmental Oceanographic Commission. We are part of the subcommittee, which is covering IOCINDIO, Central Indian Ocean. We are also part of the Mega Delta program, which is a collaboration that we have with the state key laboratories of estuarine and coastal research, East Channel Normal University. Many international collaborations. Okay, I'm going to skip this because I've already said some things about this. Okay, this is something that I would like to say. The National Institute of Oceanography has two sources of funding. One is the funds that the government provides through its non-development, and we do our in-house research through that, in which scientists submit their proposals, and we get money to do some of the works. The other source is the PSDP, the Public Sector Development Projects, which is project-driven money that's provided to us. Let's go back. We are quite interested right now, and we're looking at and monitoring the Argo floats that are entering the Pakistani waters. And a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week, we had 4 Argo floats from France in our waters. And we are now tracking these Argo floats that are online in real time. I think Dr. Zafrullah spoke quite in detail about the MSP. We too are very interested in the MSP. We think this is the way to go forward. And the National Institute is also engaged in some of the work on MSP. We are looking at potential fishing zones through remote sensing and through some of the oceanographic observations that we're doing. Acquisition of the ship is also extremely important to us. The 2 PSDP projects that we are currently running is one on the sea level rise, seawater intrusion and land subsidence in the coast of Pakistan. This is a 5-year project. We are already in the 3rd year of it, acquiring data. This is a 730 million Pak rupee project. We have acquired some very sophisticated observatories that we have established at our 4 stations, our main head office, and the 3 substations that we have in Gwadar, Somyani, and Ghorabari. So we have tidal observatories, weather stations, GNSS at 2 of the stations, and a tidal observatory at Fish Harbour of Gwadar. So we are doing quite a bit of this work as well. For the other project, which was the South of Balochistan Development Initiative project, this is to strengthen our Gwadar substation, and NIO has been engaged with in research since 1987 in Gwadar. We have our substation on the East Bay, and we are trying to, under this project, strengthen this, expand the infrastructure, improve our capacity in terms of observatories, etc. This could also be a delegated Pak China Marine Research Center. So we have our colleagues from the Second Institute of Oceanography in China who are quite interested to be part of this program as well. This project is an international project in which NIO, there are 5 main labs all over the world in which we are looking at 5 of the mega deltas of the world. Indus was recognized amongst those 15 major deltas. And this program is under the Ocean Decade program, has recognition from that. And we are also, this is also an affiliated project of the Future Earth program. So NIO and Pakistan contributes to this as well. Like Dr. Abid mentioned, we too are part of an international group that is measuring eutrophication, ocean acidification, and primary production. This is an alumni project with 13 countries participating, in which Pakistan, since the last 2 years, has been contributing. We have 5 stations all along our coast, in where we are measuring nutrient levels, salinities, primary production, chlorophyll, ocean acidification, which is total alkalinity, and pH values, and also looking at primary production. So we are now part of this network that measures this for a global synthesis. NIO has a plan. This year, very soon, I think in a couple of weeks' time, some of you may get invited for a consultative workshop on reactivation of the Antarctic program of Pakistan. We think that since there were 10 different institutions that were involved in the 2 Antarctic expeditions, the National Institute of Oceanography can be the lead, but cannot be the only stakeholder in this program. So I think we need to get to a consensus where we decide on a collective forum whether Pakistan wants to reactivate. And if you reactivate, then you will have to go for a national policy, because then you will have to make a long-time commitment. Otherwise, you will end up with the 30-year gap that we are currently facing. So that's one thing. Our seawater intrusion project, very soon we will have our conference with more scientific papers published in and presented in that conference. We are also planning our research vessel project was submitted to the CPEC. 17 projects from the Ministry of Science and Technology were submitted. 3 were selected and shortlisted, and 2 of them were from NIO, and we decided that we would go with just one from NIO, which is the research vessel, because we cannot grow unless we have the vessel. There can be no oceanography if we don't have the platform. So I think that is something that we will take forward, inshallah ta'ala. And other than that, our remote sensing project, that our Chinese colleagues are quite interested. Our ministry signed an MOU with them also to establish this remote sensing station, a receiving station, in Pakistan to carry out marine applications. So that's another thing in the pipeline. We are in December this year, inshallah ta'ala, if Allah ta'ala wills, we will be carrying out a winter school also for observational oceanography. For those of us who are interested, we'll go to. I am going to get. You don't need to give me that slip. Okay, and NIO has many plans, and this is something that I wanted to and needed to share with you. And with that, we will thank you very much for your attention and your patience. And I don't want to keep you any and hold you anymore because I think you've had a very long day. Thanks very much for your very kind hearing.